All right, you guys. So I wanted to come in here today. If you are feeling drained, keep watching because I want to share something with you that is going to help you so much. All right. We are in the middle of a 3-day visibility challenge in the coach's dojo, in the Diamond Dojo. And I was listening to one of the amazing coaches in there who was sharing that she's going through this time of feeling really drained. And she has, she's coming out of it and finding her way through it. But I wanted to share this with you because it's something I'm hearing consistently from people. So as we are coming in here, as you're watching this video, if you could just take a deep breath with me. And as you exhale out, just starting to make space. And my intention is that by the end of this video, you are going to feel a resurgence of vitality, of peace, of energy, and focus on what will truly nourish you, okay, you and your family. So I want to share a story with you from, I think it was about 3 years ago. And I'm going to look at, I'm on this different technology, so I'll look at your comments and stuff after. But basically, a few years ago, I was struggling. I was really busy in my business, and we had somebody that we had to be working with, or who we were working with, who we realized was an extremely draining energy. And I was really struggling with this person personally. And I remember for months just feeling like my frequency, I had to just battle to keep my frequency at some degree of peace, just some degree of feeling good. And it was really good training to like optimize my frequency. So if you are struggling with feeling good, if there's a really challenging person or circumstance in your life right now, what I'm going to share with you is going to help you use the circumstance to actually awaken into higher consciousness and strengthen your vibration. So I remember going through, and I'm a sound sleeper, having challenging time. I would wake up in the middle of the night, like with a panic, like with these thoughts that were like about this person and about what was happening or what could happen. And all of this terror was coming up for me. And I've made videos about this in the past, about how to manage your emotional frequency. One morning after going through this for like 2 or 3 months, I woke up one morning and my head immediately went to the same place. It went to this terror, this fear, the worst case scenario, everything I built collapsing, like all the energy I put in being destroyed by this one person. And it just was going into this dark, negative place. And the only difference about that morning, because I had been experiencing that morning after morning, is this other part of me sort of popped awake. It was like, poof. And I could see myself laying in bed in a beautiful home with my beloved husband and partner, and my health, and doing the work I love, and feeling so blessed to live where I live in Ojai, California. And there was such a disparity between the story that my mind was telling me and reality. Reality was wonderful. The story that was being placed in my mind, that I was consuming and buying into and spinning out around day after day after day, was a completely different story. So it's like there's the timeline of our lives, right? Past, future, and then there's the present moment, and that's what I call the lifeline. Because of this challenging person, I was letting myself fall into the timeline. So the problem with living in the mind or the timeline or the story is that it's not real. Who I think I am, who you think you are, it's not real. The identity that we live, the future we envision, even the past and all the photos we have from the past, it's all perspective. Like everyone can view those events differently. It's literally an illusion. It's just seen through a filter depending on who's looking at it. The only thing we can all agree on is the simplicity of this is here right now. We can't even really label it other than just there is this. Like we can all agree that there is a rose that I'm holding, or two roses, and they're just beautiful. And even that's debatable. You might not find this beautiful. But anyway, in that moment, something popped in my mind, and I realized, even though I knew conceptually for a long time that the present moment is all that is, and the mind is telling you a story that isn't real, and the joy of life is found in the present moment. It was like I could see myself in bed, and I can see this, the truth of my life, like compared to the story in my mind. And I could see that I had invested not just those months, but my whole life in a story that I was telling myself. And so if you feel drained, yes, it is all about putting boundaries with certain people who are draining, and eating certain foods that are going to keep you, vital. And I actually feel inspired to make a video on that. But the real boundary, the real way to seal and lift your vibration, and to go from feeling drained to radiant and inspired and alive and grateful and awake to what is real, is to have boundaries with this, to have boundaries with the mind, to have boundaries with the stories. And right now, we just got through an election in the United States, which many people are still recovering from, because we have spent so much time looped in a story that, by the way, none of us know what's real. I don't care what side you or me are on. We don't know what's actually happening. And anyone who says they know is fooling themselves, because you'd have to know everything to know anything, right? So why invest so much? I'm not saying not to invest some time there and be an activist and make a difference. However, if we're to really feel energized and to love our lives and to share our gifts from a high frequency, it requires having boundaries with the mind. So I'm going to share with you how I have boundaries with my mind. That morning was a wake-up call. I never had an issue with that person again. It was like some light switch went on, and I could see, oh my God, that person was not the problem. They were just the perfect trigger that was hooking me in my mind. And my boundary, although yes, I chose to put boundaries with that person, the real boundary was with the story I was buying over and over again in my mind. So my tool for you, in order to have boundaries with your mind, okay, and to live more so on the lifeline where you plug in and charge up, and you're living in the present moment, and you're actually experiencing paradise, heaven on earth, even in the midst of what may look like battle, what may look like a horrible reality. If you get still and you breathe and you look deeper and create some space, if we create space for ourselves, we actually get to see that there's a world hidden within this world. My teacher, Leonard Jacobson, opened that door for me, for many of us. And that is the world that can only be seen through the eyes of the present moment. And so there's no way to see it when we're just listening to the mind's chatter. So how do we actually awaken into the present moment, into feeling amazing and having boundaries with the mind, so that we're not boop, 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 like bouncing around the timeline, exhausted, exhausted, exhausted. First thing in the morning, what are you doing? The biggest thing I'm seeing people who are drained is they have their devices right next to their beds. And the first thing they do, they open the device and they check who is doing what on social media. They check their emails. And I know you probably know this, that this is the most draining habit. I would say it's an addiction. It's a massive addiction. And I'm not saying just before doing this, if you cannot let this go, which I believe is a lie, actually. But let's say for now, it's too big of a stretch not to check the devices first, like in the morning, is at least to have boundaries with the mind before you get out of bed, before you even move. Bring some things into your environment that are beautiful It could be a branch from outside that you cut and put in water. It could be essential oils that you have close by. It could just simply be looking outside the window and seeing the blue sky and the birds and the trees. Whatever it is for you, as soon as you wake up, or you can keep your eyes closed, your kids, your family, no one even needs to know you're awake yet. And all you do is you have boundaries with your mind, because when we wake up, the first thing the mind does is it will take us into the story. Got to get this done. Oh my God, what's going to happen with that? Oh my God, what did she say? Did she write me an email back? I have to check my email. And it will seem so urgent. The only thing that is urgent is all of us waking up right now. That's what's urgent. Our environment's calling for it. Our families are calling for it. Our communities, our health is calling for it. So how do we actually do this in the morning? So to have boundaries with the mind is to simply see that there are two worlds. One world is the world of the mind and ego that is going to go into the future, anxious, anxiety. If you feel anxiety in the mornings, it's likely because you're hooked, like I was, into a story that's not real. And so it's terrifying because you're living in the past or future, or both. And then there's this other world. And this world is really the world of the present moment. And it's everything that is here. It is neutrality, breathing, being able to feel, sense, smell, taste, touch life, rather than think about a life that isn't even real. I can't show you anything from this imaginary place or past place. It's all imagination, but I can show you the present moment. I can show you this world. And the key is to, one thing that you always have in the present moment is your heart beating and your breath and your body moving in and out. And most of us are ghosting the body, which is another issue, which I've made videos on. And there's a much deeper reason for why we're addicted, why we ghost the body, all of that. But really, it's about taking a moment before you even wake up. No one even needs to know you're awake yet. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and practice the 3 B's. Practice shine time, okay? So this is how we have boundaries with the mind, and then we come into the soul. We come into our bodies. We come into our hearts. 3 B's are breath. Take a deep breath with me right now. Fear and breath cannot coexist. So exhaling out, staying with your breath, focusing on your inhale and your exhale, breathing deeply. The focus is on the breath, and guess what? Your breath is real. It is measurable. It is in the present moment. Second B is body. So we have breath, and now we're moving into the body. The body. The body is also real, solid, measurable, in the present moment. And guess what? There are trillions of cells in your physical body that are constantly working in your favor, designed to ensure that you are always healthy. Is that not incredible? We have this trillion dollar instrument that most of us are ghosting for something that's like $500, that only drains us. When if we put our attention on our physical body, which is like this $1 trillion technology, it will serve us. It will regenerate us. It will give back to us. It will nourish us. It will love us. So, breath, body. And the nervous system in the body actually starts to relax. There's evidence when we place our hands and we bring our attention to the body, the nervous system, cortisol levels, stress hormone drops because it responds, because we're mammals, to touch, to presence, to connection, to love, to attention. What are you giving your attention to? And is that giving you a return of investment, or is it putting you in poverty? The third B, so we're breathing in, connecting with the body, body awareness, noticing how am I feeling in my body instead of trying to get rid of it, letting whatever I'm feeling to be here, letting it exist. I love you. I'm not leaving. You can whisper to the body, I'm here with you. You don't have to change a thing. Even if fear, anything is present in the body, staying with that, loving that, embracing that. And then the third B is the brow center. You can do your own research, but really this is an energetic center in the Shushuna, which is really the energy centers in the body. The brow center is a very powerful one that opens up your intuition. It also helps to calm the mind when you close your eyes and you simply focus on the brow center or the bridge of the nose if it's uncomfortable to look up too high. And as you are holding a soft gaze, breathing, body awareness, brow center, the 3 Bs are activated. Now what's happening are the left and right hemispheres of the brain are coming into the still point, the still focal point. And what happens typically is all the thinking starts to relax because the thinking mind tends to follow your gaze, your eyes. So if your eyes fall soft and focused on a drishti or a focal point on the brow center, it may start to settle the mind. You could do this in 10 breaths. You can do this in 1 breath. You can do this in 2 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours, like whatever works for you. But I encourage you to have boundaries with your mind. And this is how we start. This has great power over time. Just as an experiment, what happens when you start your morning in the present moment rather than the neurosis of the past and future, okay? So I hope that this serves you. You can use this practice. I call it shine time, anytime, not just in the morning, but throughout the day. Just take a moment, pause. You can even have your eyes open, breathe, connect, have some attention on your body, and then look at this bullseye, like this focal point, this beautiful object. A 3rd B could be beauty. Look at something beautiful. And notice what happens when you entrain yourself and have boundaries with the mind and you entrain yourself into the present moment again and again. There's deeper work that we have in some of my other videos. And I hope that this really serves you to start to refill and reorganize, refill your cup and reorganize your focus so that you can be a powerful example of somebody who's giving from the overflow rather than a drained place. All right. I love you guys with all of my heart. I'm going to check and see who is here. If you haven't already joined us here, you can subscribe. If you don't want to miss a future video, I make videos weekly. And if you got something from this, or if you're already practicing Shine Time, give this video a thumbs up. But if this is something that you receive something from, then let me know by liking the video. All right, so who is here? Oh, yes, feeling a bit drained today. Michelle is here. Yeah, you guys. Fanny, Andy is here. I've been feeling drained, and so were my friends earlier. Marvin is in the house. I'm creating space and good things are happening. So beautiful, you guys. So I hope that this serves you. And something that's coming up to say right now is, may we all have the courage to befriend the silence. May we have the courage to go deep. I think these times are really calling for us to deepen in self-care and actually sit in the spaciousness, in the silence, so we can tap into what our soul's asking for right now, rather than the direction of the wild world that we are living in right now, right? So I'm sending you all so much love and light ahead to your beautiful day. It's 11:11, and I don't want to turn this off because I just feel so, I just feel so grateful. I feel so grateful that we're all awakening to what is real and that we get to share on this journey together. So I'm sending you a whole lot of love, and I will see you in the next video. Practice Shine Time, see how it works for you, and let me know how it goes. Mwah.